each vendor will, basically dig in on what way to do it.
Yeah, and not to get too deep into the weeds, but if we're tweaking, would it just be a matter of tweaking the APIs per implementation or consumer of, the let's just call it Dash? Is that fairly easy to do, or is that how it would be done?
I think actually you probably do this through modes. Like each vendor can have different modes of operation for HA.
Okay.
And we can optimize those modes for the different use cases. For example, that's one way to do it. But there could be other ways to do it. But we could literally program which mode we want, and that could change based on the actual buyer of the product, right? Like you said, if you were doing, say, 200,000 connections per second, and you said, look, I want to just use the simplest mode possible. I just want to send all my connection state packets over to the other side and back.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because that's only 200,000 max, and it's simple and it's robust, and that's what I want. And that could be mode 1, and that would work for it. Like if you were limited to 200,000 connections per second, that would work just fine.
And that wouldn't require reprogramming the ASIC every single time.
No.
Just a mode of operation.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And then another mode of operation would be like, I have 5 million connections per second. I need something more efficient, and I need to go into a different mode. It's more complex, and it might even compromise some things. Like it may even lose a few connections. But now I'm operating at 5 million connections per second. It's a totally different paradigm now.
And so I've decided to make that trade-off. Yeah, I as a company make that trade-off and use that mode.
So I think that there should be modes.
Yeah.
I've always thought there'll be modes. And I don't think there's a right answer. Like literally, if 200,000 connections per second is okay for your application, then it's okay. And you might be able to go with a simpler, more robust mode, for example.
So, do you guys think we'll be able to move forward with the HA project if we don't define specific numbers and just be able to move forward, Marianne and Maddie?
I think it would be preferable to understand that, but if it's not the right forum, I think we can talk to the users directly, because it all requires work and prioritization. We cannot have, as I'm sure other vendors as well, cannot have all of the variations of implementations available at day one. But that's the question of resources.
From a Microsoft point of view, we will have 4 to 5 million connections per second, if not double that, right, on a DPU. So you have to design for that for us. This other simpler modes, that could be for somebody else. But at least you know that we're not looking for that. Microsoft is looking for millions, it's 4 to 5 million per every 200 gigs. So if you have 400 gigs, then you double the number. So that's why it's so important that you understand that this has to be designed for that scale. So our priority is for designing for that type of performance. So which is going to limit you in your first implementation if you want to be in the Microsoft network. It's going to have to accommodate that scale, or it's not going to work.
So this could be our first use case and the first set of coding to code for this particular one. Could we agree on that?
Yeah, it has to work for that, for sure, at least for Microsoft.
So what I was proposing in my latest email was that there's a way, I think, to achieve a defined packet format for state synchronization and a way to achieve interoperability while still allowing for each vendor and the community to define have algorithmic flexibility in how HA should work. And because I think that there are a lot of trade-offs. I think, some vendors have different constraints, different hardware constraints than other vendors. And I think that like without that flexibility, I think that we could kind of degrade into sort of a situation where it's like a least common denominator, or it's a like impossible for some vendors to do some things that other
I
vendors
think
do.
you're right. I actually agree with that statement. There are things that you can define that does not stop people from optimizing their hardware. Because all the hardware is different, but there's minimal things that we can define that create kind of interoperability, but don't limit the algorithms inside the boxes to behave in different ways in order to achieve our goals, right? So I actually agree with you. Somebody's racing a car.
Yeah. Oh, so Gerald may be on the Microsoft campus with racing cars.
It wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have, just a few minutes left. So in the short term, how can we move forward to the next week's discussion?
Yeah, so I would like to continue next week with the control plane APIs. I have the first ideas laid out in here. It overlaps with what Michael was saying. It has so first of all, like we need an ability to establish a peering, which is defined by the session itself, and we would like to come up with a set of attributes to that session. That's number one. Number two is we would like to know what is the synchronization state right now. So we would be able to query it directly from the session, or even more preferably get the notifications. And also we will probably need some telemetry as well. The one that is related to state synchronization itself, which may help us make a decision when the state synchronization is happening as expected, as opposed to when we might be losing state for one reason or another due to issues in the network. So these are three aspects that I have outlined right now. Also, Michael was mentioning that we would need a way to have a knob to potentially delay advertisement of the of this device via BGP. I'm not sure if this is really part of HA APIs, because it seems like it's something done by the controller and its interaction with the BGP config. So maybe we can clarify that a little bit more next time. So I have this initial draft. I will send it over the email. And I would like to get some feedback and talk about it next time if possible. And also, if we agree on that, I would convert it to SAI APIs and come up with the proposal to SAI community. So that's what I'd like to do for the API for HA.
That sounds like a good plan for next week. Everyone else on board with that? I'll take that as a yes. Go
I
ahead,
think
Charlie.
that should be the quickest. That should be the quickest thing that we can accomplish,
Mhm.
and then we can move on to the more interesting topics. But I think, yeah, this is something that we should be able to get done over the next couple of weeks.
Yep. Great, guys. Unless anyone has something else to discuss, I really appreciate the thought that went into this last round of conversation. It was huge, John. Thank you very much. And I'll talk to the rest of you later. And have a good day.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
I'll have the recording posted on the YouTube channel as well. Bye-bye.